Thank you, Eddie, and thank you, Brian, and for inviting me here, all the way from Nairobi. As Eddie has said, it's always very difficult to have a presentation just after lunch. How many of you have been to Africa? How many? How many from Kenya? How many have visited Kenya? Nairobi. So, habari. Habari. Sema hakuna matata. All right. My name is Jack Maina, as been told. I'm the Group Chief Operating Officer of Britam. I run the technology, the customer service, and the basic operations. Anything outside the commercial side of the business. I have been with the organization now for close to, this is my 7th year. I have been on my current role for the last 2 years, 1.5 years. Before that, I was the CIO of the same organization for about 5 years. And before that, I was in the telecommunication business, working with Safaricom. Who have heard of M-Pesa? The money mobile transfer business. Yeah, so I was part of the team that was putting that together. I will start off by setting the context of Britam, who we are, and what we've done, and then I will get into sharing with you our experiences in a digital transformation project, a program that we have been undertaking for the last 4 years, and where Rifley has played a key role in putting it all together. Britam is a multinational organization that is headquartered currently in Nairobi. Before that, we had linkage with the broader Britam, what we call the British American company, which has a presence in London, Mauritius, and Bahamas. But about 4 years ago, no, more than 4, about 6 years ago, the African entity was listed in the Nairobi Stock Exchange and kind of delinked itself from the mother company. So what I'm presenting for is on Britam specific, the Britam Group. So we are in 7 countries, as you can see, in the Eastern Africa and some Southern Africa. We have about 900 employees across the 6 countries who are permanent. Then we have another group of over 3,000 financial advisors. These are tied agents who sell our products. I think I should have mentioned that we are in the insurance side of business, as well as the property and asset management business. So, as a business, sorry for that. So I just want to set the context before I get to the actual meat of it. So about 4 years ago, after the acquisition, after we launched the IPO, the business did a business strategy, and recognized that it needed to transform itself. We needed to go through a transformation to change from the way we were working before and moving on to a more modern way of working. And that's where we then initiated a digital transformation program that has been running for close to 4 years. And that was driven mainly by realization that the customers were changing. And as you'll all know, the customers are changing. The expectations are becoming more and more demanding. The environment in which we operate is also changing, because as the customers' expectations are changing, as they experience other brands outside Britam, then they would expected Britam also to be able to be offering them the same experiences that they would get. Now, but globally, if you look at the customer changes that are happening, more and more customers are going online. More and more customers are wanting personalized services. More and more customers want to be able to self-service. They want to serve themselves, to be able to consume your products wherever they are in the way that they want to. There's a lot of presence in the social context, the social media, and therefore, in that social setting, the same customers want to be able to experience various products in the same way. At the same time, there is also some form of privacy. They want to be assured that the information that they provide online is also secure to the extent possible. Then the element of millennial is coming up as well, especially in Africa, where the population is predominantly youthful, very youthful. That could be different from other continents, but in Africa, about more than 50% of the population is below 30 years. Therefore, meaning we have a lot of digital millennials that are coming through, and that's becoming more and more as the years go on. If you then look specifically to Africa, and this I'm setting the context why we have had to go digital, and why digital is part of our new strategy as Britam. If you look at the internet penetration in Kenya and Africa, it's quite high. If you look at the mobile penetration, in Kenya is up 83%, meaning every other customer, every other individual in the country has access to a mobile device. Therefore, they have access to internet, and they can therefore transact online at their convenience. And this probably explains why the mobile money has also been has had a high success in Kenya and in Africa in general. Social media, also very high. If you look at M-Pesa, this is the money transfer, this is the famous M-Pesa, which I was part of putting together when I was in Safaricom. It's also has had, and this is 18 million out of a population of about 27, 30 million. So quite high level of penetration. This is the population that I was talking about. If you look at the countries that we operate in, if you look like Uganda, which other one? That's the only one that we have there. It's generally a young population. Yeah. So again, we don't operate in an isolation. Part of these big brands that are based, some of them off Europe, are making inroads in Africa. And if they're making inroads in Africa, it means then that the experiences and the technologies, the processes, the nature of operations, and the models, the business models that are successful in Europe and outside Africa then would be, that's what they'll be taking to our doorstep. Therefore, meaning the competition would be, if you like, from a globalization perspective, we would then, as a local company in Africa, then we then have to face these big brands, and hence the reason why we then have to look at our entire customer journey, looking at end-to-end experiences for our customers, underwriting, and this purely on the insurance side, being able to underwrite. Underwrite is basically how you process a new business in insurance, being able to provide on-spot underwriting, and many other functionalities that external firms would be able to provide from an innovative customer journey perspective. Being able to pay instant claims, self-service, self-guidance, yeah, being able to offer beyond the traditional insurance or investment services into more innovative customer experiences. Specifically to the financial side of things from an African market perspective, we've seen a lot of growth of mobile financial services. M-Shwari, these are the micro-lending facilities that have become a hit in the African, especially East Africa. Branch, while it's an international, it's has had a lot of inroads in Kenya and in the neighboring countries. Also, these other brands are also present in Africa. So, with that context, then, and with the realization from the board that the grounds were shifting, our customers were shifting in terms of the expectation and preferences. We have had new entrants or imminent entrants into the local scene. we then conceptualized the need for a digital transformation. And we looked at it and said, what is it that is going to differentiate us from the competition? And we said we need to be able to, from a customer perspective, be able to offer our customer unmatched customer service. Meaning how we serve our customer, our internal processes, the way we operationalize that should be in such a way that we're able to differentiate ourselves. We needed to look at our processes and the way we operate on a day-to-day basis. We needed to take care of our intermediaries. The insurance business is in Africa and in where we operate is still heavily intermediated, meaning we have brokers, we have agents in between, and therefore we needed to then offer them as well, being our link to our external customer, some form of differentiated experience. And then use of data. Use of data to understand customers, use of data to improve the way we operate, and be able to use the data as well, apart from at the core and in the underwriting of the business, but as well as getting customer insights that would then help us continuously offer a better experience to our customer. Now, that program, we then, from a change management perspective, we then said and asked the members of staff across the 7 countries to propose a name that would take us, that would characterize that transformation that we were looking to go through. And the word, a Kiswahili word that was then selected by the team is Jawabu. And Jawabu means an answer. Because we, as we said, we had so many problems, all challenges that were coming, as I've described. But internally then we needed to go through a transformation, a change, and we needed an answer. And that's where Jawabu came. So the entire digital transformation program is branded as Jawabu, Program Jawabu. And it's a famous word in the local setting, and when our competitors talk about it, and when they do their own market intelligence, they say Britam is executing Project Jawabu. So they don't understand all the mechanics behind it, but it's a brand name, the internal brand name that is used and recognized, and has, in a way, galvanized the program, the transformation program, across the entire organization. Now, once we then started from day one, we needed to have a clear vision, if you like, from a solution blueprint perspective, right? I've described the broad objective about the customer, the intermediaries, the internal operations, etc. But what was that was going to help us bring it together in a way that we could communicate to organization, the vendors, who would then help us put it all together. So we define in the IT speak, we put an enterprise architecture, which is basically the way you relate your business objectives, your business imperatives, and technology. Yeah, how technology supports the strategy, and how business strategy informs and directs the technology strategy. So this summarizes what then we've been putting together under Project Jawabu. So at the top is what we then looked at as our access channels. How did we see our customers interacting with us in the new way? And we have different channels. These are just representative of the channels. We then said we want to give our customers one single view. Customers should view us in one way, and we should view the customer in a single way and interact with us multiply, irrespective of our internal operations. So we then have, if you like, an abstraction layer, a presentation layer that externalizes our internal workings and groups them in a way that then our the external customers, the external stakeholders, then interact us with in one way. Then we have an integration layer, and then we have our various business, enterprise, and line of business systems. Say, as I said, we're in the insurance, we're in general insurance, we are in life insurance, we are also in asset management, in property, etc. At the core, then you have your, the specific line of business system that then would then be used to serve the customers in a specific area, a business area. then you have your business intelligence. But I think what we'll focus on today and what Liferay then offers more is on this layer, that on the presentation layer, right? So I said we have customers, we have partners. Partners are, say, our service providers, such as hospitals. Then you have our employee portal, these are our internal staff. And for this employee portal, and this for partner portal, sorry, we then split it into two. We have a general partner portal, and then we have an FA portal, a financial services portal, which is almost a sales grouping of our users. Some of the challenges, okay, even before I go that, after we had this roadmap, we then went out to tender, and we then had an international tender that we invited various bids from various technology providers. And at that point, Liferay did not bid. We did not even know about Liferay. Sorry, Eddie and Job. But then we had, on the presentation layer, we had the likes of IBM, Oracle, and many other big firms bidding, who are bidding as part of the entire solution. Because, as I said, we needed to, at the onset, we wanted to build the entire, know what we were building to the end, and we needed to talk through integrations, and all those other challenges would have then been sorted out from the onset. Then, after we got the bids and we evaluated on the top layer, none of them met all our criteria, especially on the cost side and the flexibility side. We then set out to look for we then decided to go open source. And at that point, we then evaluated a number of open source solutions, and that's where we then had Liferay participating in that stage. And we then selected Liferay to be our portal, our content management platform. That's how Liferay and their partner InfoAction, an Indian company, came into the picture. Some of the challenges that we were seeking to resolve within the Jawabu included we had very many out-of-date systems, and at the same time when we were starting this project, we had acquired another organization that gave us the other countries. At that point, we were operating as a three-country organization. We then acquired another company that then gave us the other 4 countries. And we had, that merger, that acquisition came with different systems that needed to be some of them to be re-implemented. And definitely at that point, the system that we had before Jawabu could not meet our business requirements. And we needed then to do an overhaul of our systems. The employee journey was also very disjointed. We had an intranet run from using the Microsoft SharePoint that was also not giving us that holistic integration that we needed to get. Then there were constant changes and constant regulations that were in play. This covers why we chose Liferay, and it's about the ability to integrate across the various options, be able to, whilst maintaining a holistic and integrated view, we are able to take care of each verticals, each stakeholder, and also ability to reuse the various components that we put together. And definitely also, Liferay came out as a strategic fit for us from a cost and evolution perspective. We wanted to start small, not so big, but also be able to evolve and grow, and to be able to also, in a way, holistically, to be able to future-proof some of the investment that we were making upfront. We have had 4 photos, as I've described, and they all run from a unified environment, a lot of sharing across the various portals. Some of the things that we have done and built in terms of the customer, we have used the portals to develop a customer portal where our customers across multiple lines of business can then self-service. They can do maybe claims. They can submit their claims, etc. On our sales side, we have built a digital sales capability through a buy online portal, which was a first in the region that we operate and has been very successful. The financial advisors, who are our tied agents, are also then able to prospect and go through the entire sales cycle through the portals and be able to track their sales. They're able to, because in a way, the tied agents still own the customer, as I said, because of the heavy intermediation. Then they're able to work and serve that customer in a very consistent way and within BRITAM's policies and procedures using the financial advisor portals. They have a dashboard that tells them how they are doing against their targets. They have a portal that advises them their customers the next best product that they should be able to offer their customers, etc. They're able to track their sales activities. On the overall, we have also been able to, apart from improving our user experience, provide a lot of real-time information to our customers, provide, and this that is evolving, an omnichannel experience, online integration. We are also using this partner portal to integrate with our other partners, such as the hospitals and suppliers. And at the middle of it, you then get this simplified single view of the customer. So whether it's a partner working with our customer or a salesperson, at the middle of it is one, if you like, information model. That's a description of our unified experience across the various portals. Again, running also from and integrated with the portals is our mobile channels, mobile applications, from our web responsive web apps that also expose the same portals in a mobile responsive view or perspective. That covers, in summary, I'm told I'm running out of time, but that covers what we have done so far. What are we looking to do going forward? In the morning, there was a description about the evolution of the industry, right from Industry 1.1 to the use of electricity, to mass production, etc. Now there is this discussion about Industry 4.0, and this is about an omnichannel experience in more specific terms. So we are looking at continuing on the omnichannel experience. We are looking at process innovation, how we run our operations using artificial intelligence and machine learning to the extent possible. We are looking at data and data analytics, big data, and continuing on our technology enablement, including adoption of two-speed architecture to be able then to separate between the internal transactional systems and the external systems. And that way, again, we're able then to separate using RiFree DXP, which we have actually moved now to DXP. And with its microservices, then we are able to achieve that linking between our internal systems of record and be able to then have a very versatile and a very flexible innovation layer at the top. That's the omnichannel experience that we're seeking to build, continuing on that journey with microsites for the microsites as one of the architectural principles, so that then we have different portlets and different sub-portlets within each of those portlets that I've mentioned. We are building aggregated APIs to be able then to support the partner ecosystem. Mobile apps will continue to do a lot of development on that. And as we do all that, we'll use RiFree as our integrated one platform for all our externalization of our services to all our external stakeholders. And that concludes my presentation. And to summarize, it's been a journey, a digital transformation journey, driven mostly by our customers, the needs of our customers who have been evolving, also driven by the external forces, external global organization coming into Africa, and bringing in best practice, and therefore we have to respond and be able to, as an organization, to be able then to offer our customers the same services, the same product, the same services that an external firm, say from Europe, that come and work in Africa, would provide. And we have then relied on technology for that. Rifley has been a key, and with their partner InfoAction, have played a big role in that transformation. In terms of steps, there was then necessary need for a change story. We were able to tell a stage. We were able to internally sell that message to the entire organization. We rallied the organization around a common transformation theme. We had a buy-in right from the board all the way to management, to the external team. The program sponsor of this program has been our group managing director, who has then led. So right from the top, then you need a lot of ownership to go through such a transformation. You need internal buy-in. You need to have strong partners that will walk you through the journey. We have had those partners in Rifley and other vendors that we have worked with. You need to be able then to also have, if you like, what I call the enterprise architecture. This is having this at the end, from the onset, to be clear on what you are building, whilst you can change, you can evolve as the certain factors come into play. You need to have some form of, from the onset, a clear picture of what you are building, so that then, as you build, everything then comes in together. And one of our key principles was this single view of the customer. Therefore, everything that we did then was informed by the single view of the customer, a single experience. And then you ask yourself, for us to be able to give us this experience that we want our external customers to get, what do you need to do internally? Then technology comes into play, and the various integration, the bolts and nuts, all fall together. So it has been 3 years or so. Challenging. It's not easy to get to that point right from, as I said, we started off with a very low base, but we have worked consistently and we have gotten to the point that we are. And we think now we have a proper digital foundation to be a truly digital operation. Thank you.